Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar. I'm Tarun. I'm from Zoho Analytics pre-sales team. I'll be the host for today's session. Please confirm if I'm audible and if my screen is visible. Thanks for confirming. We'll get started with today's webinar. Let's take a look at our agenda. We'll begin by discussing how diagnostic analytics helps us understand the reasons behind the past performance and improve decision making. Next, we'll delve into the integration of OpenAI with our RAG framework, enhancing our ability to derive actionable insights. We'll explore Auto Analysis 2.0 as well. This automates data insights and simplifies the analytics process. Finally, we'll wrap up with predictive models, showcasing how they help us anticipate future trends and make informed strategic decisions. Now, let's dive into diagnostic analytics. Diagnostic analytics is all about answering the why behind our data. By leveraging smart key driver analysis, we can pinpoint the factors influencing our performance. This helps us not just understand what happened, but why it happened. Here are some key features we'll explore. We'll look at how contextual intelligence enhances our understanding by providing relevant insights in the right context, ensuring our analyses are always relevant. Zia's capabilities allows us to present these insights in a narrative format, making complex data more accessible and easier to understand. We'll also showcase the power of visual Zia insights, which help us quickly identify trends and patterns through engaging visuals. Finally, the analytics experience to our specific needs, ensuring we get the most relevant data at our fingertips. I'll now demonstrate these features and actions, showing you how easily we can uncover insights through diagnostic analytics. Let's take a look. This is the sales versus ad spend report. This report shows how our company sales were generated depending upon the amount we spent on ads. Now I want to generate some insights on this report. I'm selecting insights. It shows the inferences. I can find the inferences for total ad spend as well as the insights for total net sales. I see that in July 2024, the sales has been declined by 12%. So previously we were just able to see the inferences, but now we can diagnose why there has been a decrease in sales. Let's diagnose. This process will take some seconds. So here we go. In June 2024, my sales is 1.47 million, whereas in July it's just 1.3 million. There has been a decrease of $173,000, as you can see here. This diagnosis lets me know that there are 5 factors because of which the sales have dropped down. So these are the 5 factors. I see Facebook ads to be the major contributor to the sales reduction. Out of $173,000, almost $121,000 of sales has been reduced because of Facebook ads. It's almost 69.49%. This is alarming. So as a business owner, I would probably not spend on Facebook ads anymore. I would like to know why there has been a significant drop in the Facebook ads. So I'm selecting no more. Now I can see the impact details. So what could be the top offsetters? I can see the desktop users. These users are people who access the Facebook ads through the desktop. So the sales generated through these users have significantly dropped from 231,000 US dollars to just 64,000 US dollars. In June, the sales generated was 231,000 US dollars, whereas in July, this amount has been reduced by 167,000 US dollars. This is something that I need to take care of. I also noticed that there has been a slight drop in sales from users who access the Facebook ads through tablet. So these are the offsetters. There has also been a drop in the Facebook occurrences. In general, the occurrences have been increased for all the sources, whereas for Facebook, it has almost been the same. The occurrences were just reduced by one, as you can see. In July, it is just 43, whereas in June, it is 44. This means that the drop in sales has nothing to do with the Facebook occurrences. Then the net sales on Facebook were lower than the expected range. This report shows the date-wise expected sales and the observed sales. There has been a large deviation during July 10, 2024. Similarly, in July 2021, there has been a deviation of 76%. So these are some of the points that tell why the sales drop has happened. So this diagnosis will help you to understand the reason for a problem and also give us an idea about how to overcome the problem. So this is diagnostic analytics. So being said this, I'll move to the next slide. Now let's explore the integration of OpenAI with RAG. This integration offers a seamless experience through OpenAI APIs, allowing us to bring powerful AI capabilities directly into our analytics workflow while adhering to our bring your own key policy, BYOK, for security. Here are some key points to highlight. The integration serves as a contextual assistant, helping users create formulas and SQL queries easily. It also aids in finding public datasets, streamlining the data exploration process. Importantly, this integration ensures that no sensitive data is shared. It operates using metadata only. This means we can harness AI's power without compromising the data privacy. We can now leverage the RAG-based augmentation, enhancing our data analysis capabilities by allowing AI to retrieve relevant information and generate insights tailored to our needs. Now let's move to a live demo where I'll show you how to use this integration to ask Zia for the SQL query syntax I need. This will just illustrate how intuitive and powerful this feature can be. Let's get started. So I have a workspace where I have two tables. I have the sales table and the target table. I would like to join these two tables. So basically, I want to find whether the sales people present here have achieved the target or not. So I have the sales numbers in the sales table and the target in the target table. Salesperson is the primary key or the common column. I want to write a SQL query for the same. I'm someone who doesn't know SQL programming language. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make use of the OpenAI's capabilities. So here I have the Zia query generator. I'm just going to enter my prompt. Make sure that you enter the logic correctly so you get the precise results. I'm typing write a SQL query to join the sales table and the target table. I want sales from the sales table and all the columns from the target table. I need to do a left join, and the primary key is sales person. So I'm going to generate the SQL. So here we go. I have the query. I'm executing the query, and that's all. Without even having to know the SQL programming language, I got the result I needed. I'm just going to execute this query. I'm saving this. I'm saving this table as sales versus target. Let's look at the output. So here we go. You can also make use of the OpenAI to generate formulas. So in the sales table, I have the sales column and the cost column. I want to find out the profit. I don't have the profit column, so I need to write a formula to find out the profit. So I'm going to select add and choose formula column. I'm naming this formula column as profit. And now I'm just going to ask the OpenAI to provide me the formula. Just typing, I want to find the profit. I have sales and cost. Or we'll just put it this way. Write a formula to find the profit. I have sales and cost in my table. So here we go. I have the formula. I can just select save. So the profit column is getting reflected in my table. So this is how you can make use of the OpenAI integration to achieve your results. This is cool, isn't it? So being said this, I'll move to my next slide. Now let's shift gears and look at how Zia can be used within Microsoft Teams. This is something we refer to as push-down intelligence. Now let's dive into a quick demo to see how this works in practice. This integration allows us to bring the power of analytics directly into our collaborative environment, making it easier for teams to access insights and data-driven recommendation without leaving their workflow. With push-down intelligence, you can seamlessly interact with Zia, receive real-time insights, enhance teams' productivity. So being said this, let me move to my next slide. Now we will look at Auto Analysis 2.0. Previously, you all knew that we used to support auto analysis. Now, we have made some enhancements to the previous auto analysis feature. Previously, you were just able to use auto analysis to come up with set of predefined reports and dashboards. It used to work upon a predefined algorithm. Now, what you can do is, you can also customize the columns. So the reports and dashboards will be populated according to the columns that you choose. So this is very powerful, isn't it? Let's take a quick look at how this works. So I have the sales table. I'm just going to select auto analysis. So now the interface shows me 4 dashboards. You can unmark any dashboard if you don't want, and you can also customize the columns. In case if you're not happy with the auto-generated reports and dashboards, and if you want additional reports or dashboards to be built depending upon any additional columns, you can select it. So we provide you this option now. So under the metrics column, you can pass any numbers. By default, I have profit, sales, and cost. If you want to add any additional number column, you can do that. You can also add any string column or date column or geo column. So according to the additional columns that you're adding or removing, the auto-generated reports will get modified and you'll get a new set of reports and dashboards. This is impressive. So this is all about the new auto analysis. Now let me move to the next slide. So now we have Zia suggestions. So what is Zia suggestions? When you're building any report, Zia will suggest you the chart type that will best fit the data. Let's take a quick look at how this works. So I'm going to create a chart view. Let's create a simple chart, region-wise sales. And now here you can see the suggestions popping up. So when you select it, the tool will suggest you what chart type works well. So I'm going to select the area chart. So if you like this area chart, you can select apply. Zia will also provide you the steps to create this chart. So Zia is asking me to drag and drop the region column in x-axis and the sum of sales in y-axis. And then you can select this chart type. If you like this chart, you can select apply. So here we go. So this is Zia's suggestion. So being said this, let me move to the next slide. So we'll now talk about the predictive AI models. So here I'll be discussing more about anomaly detection, clustering, and multivariate forecasting. I'll start with anomaly detection. Anomaly detection refers to the process of identifying patterns in data that do not conform to the expected behavior. It is used to detect unusual or unexpected events in dataset that may indicate errors, fraud, or significant changes in data trends. Let me give a simple use case. In the finance sector, anomaly detection is commonly used to identify fraudulent transactions. For instance, if a credit card is suddenly used for large purchase in a different country shortly after being used in a familiar location, this transaction might be flagged as an anomaly for further investigation. So we'll take a look at clustering. So what is clustering? Clustering is an unsupervised machine learning technique that involves grouping of objects based on their similarities. The goal is to divide the data into clusters where objects in the same cluster are more similar to each other than those in the other clusters. Let me give a simple use case. In marketing, clustering can be used to segment customers based on purchasing behavior. For example, a retail company might analyze its customers' data to identify distinct groups like frequent shoppers, occasional buyers, and those who only purchase during sales, enabling targeted marketing strategies for each segment. Finally, we'll look at multivariate forecasting. So multivariate forecasting is a statistical technique that uses multiple variables to predict future values. It considers the relationship and interactions among various factors to create more accurate forecasts. So let me provide you an example. In supply chain management, a company might use multivariate forecasting to predict inventory needs. By analyzing variables such as historical sales data, seasonal trends, promotional activities, and economic indicators, the company can forecast the future demands more accurately, ensuring they have the right products available at the right time. Now we'll dive into a quick demo to check how anomaly detection, clustering, and multivariate forecasting works. So I have a report. I'll explain what this report is all about. This report shows the abandoned checkout amount trend. Basically, I have built this report with the data coming from a e-commerce platform. So customers tend to add the items to their cart, but they end up not purchasing. The amount or the value of the items in the cart is what I mentioned as abandoned checkout amount. So this is a report that shows the trend. Now I would like to do anomaly detection in this report. So how can we run the anomalies? So I'm just going to select analysis and I'm going to select anomaly. I'm adding an anomaly. I'm selecting the abandoned amount sum. You can give the anomaly a name. You can choose the model. So I have the machine learning based RPCA, which is nothing but robust principal component analysis. You can choose this model or you can choose a statistical model. We support IQR, Z-score, percentile, and custom range. You can choose any model and give the threshold. If your data point deviates between the threshold, it will be detected as an anomaly. I'll stick with the ML-based RPCA and I'm changing the allowed deviation to be 44. So I want the tool to detect if my abandoned checkout amount range crosses 44. So if the abandoned checkout amount range crosses 44%, I want that to be flagged as an anomaly. So here I'm selecting the direction to be above because I mentioned I want to be notified only if my abandoned checkout amount range deviation crosses 44. Now I'm selecting apply. So here we go. I have two anomalies in this report. So this is how you can do anomaly detection. I'm going to save this report. So being said this, I'll move to the next concept. Now we'll look at cluster analysis. So I'll tell you what this report is all about. This report shows how many group of people have purchased the products depending upon the discount range and how many group of people have decided not to purchase depending upon the discount rate. On the x-axis, you can find the discount rate. On the y-axis, you can find the cart abandonment rate. So I'm mousing over a group of people. So these are group of people who purchased the products because you can see the cart abandonment rate is very minimal. They have purchased the products also for the reason that the discount percentage is very high. So if you see the x-axis, the discount range is very high. Again, I'm identifying another group. So these are the group who didn't purchase depending upon the discount percentage. So discount percentage is very minimal, whereas the cart abandonment rate is very high. So what I want to do is I want to group these people into multiple clusters. So to do this, you can simply run a cluster analysis. You can give the factors. Factors are columns. So by default, I have the discount rate and the cart abandonment rate. You can include the columns as per your requirement. You can choose the model. The tool suggests me to stay with k-means. So I'm going to go ahead with the tool suggestion. I want the number of clusters to be 3. You can select the normalization as per your requirement. I'm going to stick with min-max scaling and I'm selecting apply. So here we go. I have 3 clusters. So cluster 2, a group of people who ended up not purchasing the product because the discount is very minimal. And cluster 3, a group of people who purchased the products because the discount rate is very high. Similarly, the cluster 1, a group of people who fall between these two categories. This is how you can do a cluster analysis. So we saw how to do anomaly detection and we saw how to run a cluster analysis. We completed two important topics. Now I'll talk about the multivariate forecasting. I'll take you to a different workspace. So previously, Zoho Analytics supported only univariate forecasting. We can just forecast the future depending upon the previous trend earlier. Now we can also add an influencing factor and do a forecasting. Let me show you how this can be done. So I'm creating a simple chart. So I'm creating a chart to find out the month and year wise sales. So here we go. Now I want to forecast the future. You can simply select analysis and select forecast. I want to forecast how my sales would be for the next 5 months. You can give the forecast length. We can see this option influencing factors. So this is something that we recently started supporting. Now I just want to forecast how my sales would be depending upon the cost. So the cost would be an influencing factor. You can also include multiple other factors if you want. You can also choose a model as per your requirement. I'm going to stick with the auto model and I'm selecting apply. So in this way, you can do a multivariate forecasting. So we saw how to do anomaly detection, how to do a cluster analysis, and we also saw how to do a multivariable forecasting. So I have almost come to the end of today's presentation. I would like to cover one more point. So you can see the ZIA insights, right? We also have visual ZIA insights. I spoke about this earlier, but I didn't show you how this will look like. So this is the visual narratives. The same insights. If you get bored to just read the text, you can just go and select this visual insights to see the insights in a visually appealing way. And I would also like to inform you about one more thing. It is possible for you to change the columns. So by default, when you select insights, earlier insights would be generated depending upon the predefined algorithm. But now you can modify the insights. You can just change the columns. So by default, this report shows the sales versus ad spent. So I have these columns that has been identified by the tool. I have the net sales, ad spent, campaign end date, and the user device. You can also add additional columns if you want further insights depending upon any specific column. You can also choose the insights categories. If you don't want to see the top contribution or exceeding threshold, you can unmark it. So the insights would be minimal depending upon the options you deselect. You can also select the time series insights. You can choose the time series insights as per your requirement. And then you can also select the analysis of measures. So you can customize the insights that are being generated by yourself. You can just select the columns through which the insights needs to be shown. I have pretty much covered all the points. Now it's time for the question and answer session. I'll open the floor for questions. If anybody has any questions, feel free to let me know. I'll be happy to answer. All right. I hope I was able to answer all of your questions. If you have any further questions, feel free to drop an email to support@zohoanalytics.com and we'll be happy to assist you with your queries. Thanks for joining today's webinar. Have a good one. Bye.